Hey there, fellow weird ass black sheep. How are you? Great, great, great. We are here live at Jesus Regional Shit Talking Tour slash Wellness Clinic. We are spending time with the man, finding out who he is while we are on this tour. So, grab your shit and let's go. Now, let's stop by these other places and see if we are live so they can come. Oh, yep, there's that one. And this one. Let's find out. Yep, there we are. Cool. All right. So, we are on the second leg of this tour. We are on Mark's version of this tour. We are on chapter 4, and this is going to be a great chapter. We're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff because this is an actual concert that he's doing, and we are witnesses to it. So, let's see what Jesus said. Chapter 4. And he began to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered to him great multitude. So he entered into a ship, sat down, and the whole multitude was by the sea on the land. And he taught them many things by parables, and said unto them in his doctrine, Behold, there went out a sower to sow, and it came to pass as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the birds ate it. Some on stony ground, and they didn't really root very well. And the sun scorched them, and some fell among thorns, and they were suffocated. But then there are some that fell on good ground, and they made good fruit and stuff, good plants. Yep. And they brought forth 60, 30, some 100-fold because it was good land. And remember a little bit ago, I compared this to children and the different ways adults act around them. Jesus says it means something different, and it probably means exactly what he said. But you could word magic it into children and how adults act around children. Okay. So then he said, He that has ears, let him hear. And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked him what it meant. And he said, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sin should be forgiven. And he said to them, Don't you know this? And how then will you know all the other parables? That's exactly what I said. They don't know this stuff. How are they going to know other stuff? I say that like I knew what this meant. I compared it to children. Apparently, it means something totally different. The sower sows the word, and these are they by the wayside, where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan comes and immediately takes away the word that was sown. And these things are, and these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness. But they have no root, so they only endure for a short time. But after affliction or persecution for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. Yeah, those people are assholes. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches. Listen to the world. Listen to the word, not the world. Yeah. Listen to the world, not the word. Listen to. Okay. Hold on. And the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lusts of other things, entering in, choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. Yeah, words and things. And these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word, receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. And then he said to them, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick? There you go. Flavor packet of life. Yeah, here you go. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. If any man has ears to hear, let him hear. Man, there's cat hair in my nose or something. Maybe it's my own hair. I don't know, but something's in my nose. Okay. I'm okay. I swear I'm okay. Okay. What? Nothing. Okay. And he said to them, take heed what you hear, and with what measure you meet. Mete. I don't know that word, but we're going to say, because it's kind of spelled like meme, but with a T. So meat. I don't know. We're going to say that's what it is. Okay. It shall be measured to you, and unto you that hear more shall be given. Yeah, take that. For he that has, to him shall be given, and he that does not have, from him shall be taken all he has. And he said, so is the kingdom of God, as if a man should cast a seed to the ground. Have imagination. Heaven is what you imagine. You got to be like a child. Imagination. Be like SpongeBob. Imagination. Like a child. Okay. As if, oh, okay. And should sleep and rise night and day, and the seed should spring and grow up. He does not know how, for the earth brings forth fruit of herself. First the blade, then the ear, and after that the full corn. But when the fruit is brought forth immediately, he puts in the sickle, because the harvest has come. And he said, whereunto shall we like the kingdom of God? Or with what comparison shall we compare it? It is like a grain of mustard seed, which is the smallest seed. but when it is grown, it is fucking huge. And then, like, the birds live in it and shit. And with many parables, he spoke to them as they were able to hear it. But without a parable, he did not tell them. And when they were alone, he expounded all things to his disciples. And the same day, when evening came, he said to them, "Let us pass over to the other side." And when they had went away, the multitude, no, and when they had sent away the multitude, they took him, they took him as he was in the ship. Okay. So he went with them in the ship and they went to the other side. And I guess the multitude was there also in little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat the ship, and the thunder was, and oh, it doesn't say thunder, it says hinder. And oh, he was in the hinder of the ship. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. He was down there sleeping, and they were trying to wake him up, but he kept like rolling over because he didn't want to be woke up. And they was like, "Dude, you gotta save us." And he's like, "I'm not saving you." And they're like, "Dude, you got to get up. Oh my God, we're gonna die." They're like totally freaking out. Like, and he's like, "Oh my God, you guys suck. You're fine. Oh my God, there's water on the ship. Oh no." Jesus is probably the only one that would have floated in that situation. Anyway. Anyway. He is, like, really mad because they woke him up, and he's like, "You guys have no faith, you guys suck." And then he tells the wind to shut the fuck up, and he goes back down there and goes to sleep. And then and then we're on chapter 5. So, I mean, is anybody even here? Somebody's here. People are here. Somebody. Maybe it's only me. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one here. Who knows? I don't know, but how long have I been doing this? 12 minutes. They said you're supposed to wait like a half hour. People come at a half hour. Oh, this is taking so long though. But I gotta read this book. But I know we're getting to the part. Like, oh, I don't want to get to the part. Uh, yeah, I don't know. But I do know we are on chapter 5. You know what? And they came over to the other side of the sea, into the country of Gad, Gerber baby food. And when he came out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs one man with an unclean spirit. I was pretty sure there was two, but okay. There was one man with an unclean spirit who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, not even with chains, because he had been often found with fetters and no, because he had been, oh, he's often bound with fetters and chains and had been plucked asunder by him. Okay. And the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. Okay, hold on. And he saw Jesus afar off and ran and worshiped him. And with a loud voice he cried, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High? I adjure you, by God, that you don't fuck with me." and, and Jesus said, "Get the fuck out of here, demon devil guy. Get out." And he said, "What's your name?" And the devil demon guy was like, "My name is Legion. We are many." Yeah, because why not? And he besought him much that he would not send him away out of the country. Now, really, is this how this? Okay, I don't remember. Anyway, the demon devil guy was like, I don't exactly want to die. So how about these pigs over here? And Jesus is like, "Well, I don't care about no fucking pig." Okay. So the demon devil guy, the many guys, they go into the pigs, and the pigs are like, "Fuck this shit." And they jump off a mountain. Now, the townspeople hear about this madness, and they immediately go to Jesus and they tell him and his tour need to GTFO, yo. And so Jesus GTFO'd, yo. Okay. 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 Hold on. Okay. So after they told Jesus he's got to go, he went. Okay. And hold on. He departed and began to publish and decuplus how great. Oh, never mind. And Jesus passed over again by ship to the other side. Much people gathered to him, and he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there comes one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, "My daughter, she's dead." And Jesus went with them, and the people followed him and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood for 12 years had suffered many, many things from many physicians, and had spent all the money she had, and nothing made her better. She only grew worse. And when she had heard of Jesus, she pressed behind him and touched his garment. For she thought to herself, "If I could just touch him." And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt it in her body, and she was healed. And Jesus, immediately knowing his virtue had gone out of him, turned in the press and said, "Who touched my clothes?" And his disciples were like, "Everybody. Everybody touched your clothes, dude. Like, do you see how many people there are? Are you kidding me?" And Jesus like, "No, no, no. Somebody sick touched me." And they're like, "It's everybody." And he's like, "No, it's specific." And then he turned around and he saw her there. Okay. And she was fearful and trembling, knowing what she did. And she was like, "I'm Nikki K's ancestor. Yeah. My bad, yo. And Jesus is like, "Yeah, no, you're fine. Go ahead. Go away." And while he still spoke, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house a, s- a certain man which was like, your daughter is dead. You don't have to trouble him any further. And then Jesus was like, "No, she's asleep. She's faking it. Watch." And he told everybody, "Don't follow me. Come on, you couple guys." I think Peter and James. Yes. Peter, James, and John. Okay. So it was Peter and the sons of thunder. And they came into the house of the ruler and all the people that wept there greatly. And then he said, "She's asleep. What are you guys doing? She's fine." And they were like, "No, dude, she's dead. Like, for real. Like, super dead. Like, way dead." And he's like, "No, she's sleeping." So he went into the room with her and he grabbed her by the hand and he's like, "Get up. Stop faking it." And then the little girl woke up and he's like, "Give her some food." So they gave her some food. Yep. Okay. How many minutes are we at? 21. Okay. So chapter 6 is so not that long. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe it is. Okay. Now he went out from there and came into his own country, which is Capernaum, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath day had come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished. Like, man, this guy is fucking amazing. God must love him. And isn't this the carpenter? Like, isn't this like Mary and Joe's son? Like, don't we know we know his brothers and his sisters. Like, we know his family. Who is this guy? And Jesus said, "A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, among his own kin, in his own house." No, Jesus, only you. Literally only you. But okay. And he couldn't do anything mighty there because, the people sucked. And he marveled because of their unbelief. And he went around about in the independent scene having concerts. And he called unto him the 12 and began to send them forth by twos and gave them the power over unclean spirits and commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey except a staff, no scrip, no bread, no money. Oh, they could carry their purse though. Okay. But, oh, and they should also have sandals and not two coats, only one coat. Okay. And he said to them, "In what place you go to, stay there. And whoever does not receive you or hear you, then leave and shake the dust off your feet for a testimony against them." And they went out and preached that men should repent. And they cast out many devils and anointed many with oil that were sick, and they healed them. And King Herod heard of him, for his name was spread abroad. And he was like, no, 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 that's John the Baptist. And they were like, no, 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 this is Elijah or something like that. No, it's a different guy. And Herod was like, no, 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 it's John the Baptist who I beheaded. Okay. For Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold of John and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. Okay, so Herod asked John what he thought about this whole Herodias situation. And John was like, don't do it. That's your brother's wife. Don't do it. And Herod's like, but she's pretty and she's got the bomb. And he's like, it's not the bomb. There's so much better. Don't do it. Well, Miss Queenface hears about this and she is highly upset. So she gets her daughter. We don't know how old her daughter is, but we could guess she's probably early teens. Anyway, she gets her all dolled up to do this great dance for Kingface. And he's like super delighted. And he tells the girl, anything you want, whatever you want, I will give it to you. And so she was like, let me go talk to my mom. And she asked her mom, what do you want? And the mom was like, the head of Jean le Baptiste. And so she told the king, I want John's head. And the king was exceeding sorry because he loved John. But he said that he would not reject her. And immediately the king sent an executioner and commanded his head be brought. And I hope it was like, something like that, like on a silver platter. Like she opens it and it's like something like that. Yeah. Anyway, so he brought his head in a charger and gave it to the damsel, and she gave it to her mom, and it was really gross. And when his disciples heard of it, they came and took his corpse and laid it in a tomb. And the apostles gathered themselves together to Jesus and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said to them, come, ye yourselves apart. Wait, he said to them, come, just you guys, to a deserted place and rest a while. There were many comings and goings, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. So they went somewhere by themselves, and the people saw them departing, and many knew him and ran afoot out of the cities. Hold on. And many knew him and ran out of all the cities. All of them went out and came together. And Jesus, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. Here we go, new concert. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples, his disciples came to him and said, this is a deserted place, and the time is far past. Send them away that they may go stimulate the economy and get them something to eat. And he was like, "You guys give them something to eat." And they were like, We don't have anything." And Jesus like, "Yes, you do." And like, "Only a couple loaves of bread and a couple fish." And he's like, "Start passing it out." And then they're like, "No." And he's like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who my dad is? Dad, we're hungry. Can we have a sandwich?" Look at that. Everybody's got a sandwich and a juice box. We're like toddlers. Uh, Hold on. Okay. And when he had taken the 5, okay. And they took up 12 baskets full of fragments at the end. And there were 5,000 men, women, and children that ate that day. And straightway he constrained his disciples to get into the ship to go to the other side to Bethsaida, while he sent away the people. So Jesus stayed and said goodbye to everybody, and his disciples were already on a boat. So when Jesus had, spent a couple minutes by himself, he know like the weather started to get a little messed up. All right. So wait, wait, I read it wrong. Okay. And when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain. Right. He took a nap. And then when the evening was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. And when he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary to them, about the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea, and would have passed by them. But they saw him walking, and they freaked out and thought it was a ghost. And he told them, "There's no such thing as a ghost. Who else would be walking on water? Who else do you know is magical? Nobody. So who else could it be? Like, honestly, who else? Right? It's Jesus. Yeah." And then Peter's like, "Well, if it's really you, then I want to watch you." And Jesus like, "Okay, come on." So then Peter steps off the boat and then immediately starts sinking because he's scared of the wind, because he doesn't really believe in Jesus. And Peter cries for Jesus to save him, and Jesus does. And when they had passed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret. I guess this is a different Gerber baby food. I don't know, but I guess they went back. I don't know. And when they came out of the ship straight away, they knew him, and they ran through that whole region round about and began to carry about beds of those who were sick where they heard he was. And wherever he entered into villages or cities or countries, anywhere his tour was going, they threw their sick outside just to touch him while he walked by. And as many that touched him were healed. Oh, okay. So, okay. Okay. Yeah, chapter 7. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain scribes, which came from Jerusalem. So these guys were following Jesus too, all the way around. Why, though? Okay. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the do's, they wash their hands often and do not eat, holding the tradition of the elders. Okay. And when they had come from the market, what? Okay. And many other things. What the fuck is happening? Wait a minute. And when they had come from the market, except they wash, they eat not. And many other things there be, which they have received to hold, as the washing of the cups and pots and brazen. Oh, these are their fucking traditions. Bullshit. Okay. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why don't your disciples follow traditions? And he said, why don't you? There's prophecies about you. Why don't you follow the traditions? Okay. And he was like, you know full well you reject the commandments of God and you keep your own tradition. Moses said, honor your mother and your father. And whosoever doesn't or curses their mother and father, he needs to die. But you say, listen, if I'm old enough then and you're not taking care of me no more, then I don't got to take care of you. And then he called the people to him and he said, hearken to me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing that comes out. No, nothing from without a man. Nothing a man puts inside himself can defile himself. It's what comes out of the man that defiles the man. Right? If any man has ears to hear, let him hear. And then he entered into, and when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. And he said, are you guys still that dumb? Do you not understand? It doesn't matter what you put in your mouth. It matters what comes out of your mouth. If you say evil shit, then you're going to do evil shit. If you say nice shit, then you're going to do nice shit. Right? You got to say nice things. And then he said, oh, from there he arose and went to the borders of Tyre and Sidon and entered into a house. And he would have, hold on, he went to the borders of Tyre and Sidon, entered into a house, and would have no man know it, but he cannot be hid. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him and came and fell at his feet. This woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said, yeah, but you're a dog. And she's like, yeah, but I'm not a dog though. And he's like, no, you're probably a dog. because I'm not here for dogs. I'm here for these bloodthirsty monsters. And she's like, no, no, no. Even bloodthirsty monsters, they get, they leave scraps and then dogs eat the scraps. And he's like, oh, you should be on my shit talking tour, lady. Do you want to come on my tour? Your daughter's fine, by the way, but you should be on my tour because that was the best comeback ever. And again, departing from the coast of Tyre, he came to the Sea of Galilee through the midst of the coast of Decapolis. And they bring unto him one that was deaf and had an impediment in his speech. And they beseeched him to fix him. And he took him aside from the multitude, put his fingers in his ear, spit, and touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he was like, big guy. Yeah. And straightway his ears were opened, and he no longer stuttered like Bubba Ray Dudley. And he charged them that they should tell no one. But yeah, they did anyways. And we're beyond measure. No. So they went around and published it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, he has done all things well. He makes both the deaf hear and the dumb to speak. Yeah, we're ending right there. Yeah, we're going to end right there. So I want to thank you for watching chapter 8. So we'll be picking up on chapter 8 tomorrow. I should probably mark that. There you go. So thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you later.